May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be pleasing unto you, O Lord. Please be seated. Well, I have been blessed and tormented by a 3 decades-long career in media and politics. So today, I'm going to start by talking about the rarely mentioned but critically important event underlying our democracy, the political cocktail party. There are probably thousands a year in Washington, D.C. alone, not to mention the ones that happen at the state level across the country. So whether it's a fundraiser or a welcome reception or a political rally, events with people in suits and a soggy cocktail napkin clinging to a glass with a plastic straw in it are a key part of our democratic process. I have been to more fundraisers and cocktail parties than I can count, and about 300 more than I want to admit to. The number one question that gets asked when first meeting someone at these gatherings is, so who do you work for? Especially in political circles, with whom you are affiliated matters a lot. For example, if you are a staffer for a member of Congress, you kind of get an, oh, that's nice, kind of response, unless you happen to simultaneously drop that you're chief of staff for a senior member, and then the tone changes. It goes to, oh, well, we should keep in touch. If you work in the private sector and it's a recognizable company name, especially a Fortune 50 company, people are immediately impressed. Oh, that's interesting. What do you do for them? Is usually the follow-up. See, in politics, everyone is always trying to figure out who can do what for them. It's a chess match in which there is never a winner because no one really knows what they're reaching for or what they're looking for. All they know is with whom you are affiliated matters. It's just the climb. As the saying goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know. In the second half of today's story, when the disciples hear who Jesus is, they understandably start to follow him. Jesus turns around and utters his first words in the Gospel of John. What are you looking for? Their response is, Rabbi, where are you staying? This kind of always makes me laugh, right? The first questions the disciples decide to ask the Son of God is where he's basing himself out of these days. Talk about Jesus having a human experience. Even he had to state his affiliation. Maybe the disciples ask this because since they're already following him, they want to know where he's going. Perhaps they're still in discernment and want to assess whether they're going somewhere that's safe or clean. Maybe they just want to know who's going to also be there when they get there. Because where we spend our time, with whom we spend our time, helps define how we affiliate ourselves and how we size up others. This is an era in the history of our country where affiliations not only matter, but in very real ways, they become a part of our identities. Our social media encourages this type of grouping. If you type dachshund into your search bar on Instagram, you're probably going to be flooded with reels of hot dogs and costumes more than you ever imagined was possible. If you start following Episcopal priests or churches on Instagram, you're probably going to start seeing other like-minded forms of Christianity in your feed. We are grouping one another, the robots are grouping us, and it seems like no matter what we do, we are members of categories. Let's take a moment and think about all the categories we are a part of. This is interactive. Okay, dog parents. Dog parents, okay. Cat parents, fewer. Bird parents? No. Okay, this is a good one. Human parents. I know there's a lot of those. Okay, let's hear a shout out for step parents. Yes, okay. Whether you're a veteran or a business owner, a nature lover, or a foodie, I know this is also interactive. Episcopalians, come on. Yes, good answer. All these categories that society has placed you in, are these ones you want to be a part of? As yourself, do they reflect who you are? Who believe Jesus created you to be? Or maybe, are you still looking? Are you still looking for what feels right to you? Are you trying to figure out what it is you're looking for? John the Baptist, who is a critical figure in today's passage, he knew exactly what he was looking for. He was one of those gifted people who knew what he wanted to do in life seemingly before he was born. In Luke, we're told about how he leaped in his mother's womb when pregnant Mary came by. John knows himself well. Living in the wilderness and off the wilderness, he was a man on a mission. I think he would have been a great Episcopalian, for the record. Neither empire nor cultural norms were going to stop John the Baptist. Note that Jesus doesn't ask him what he's looking for because they both knew he had found it. I find it so interesting that Jesus' first words in this gospel are a simple question. The Gospel of John is considered, out of the 4 Gospels, to be the one with the highest Christology. That is, the branch of theology that studies the person, nature, and work of Jesus Christ. Christology holds equally who Jesus was, both human and divine, on one hand, while simultaneously looking at what he accomplished on this earth, his work and his mission. So this question is really a challenge to us, and we'll have a different answer for each of us. Jesus' question seems to reach through time to speak directly to what being a human is. It's a searching for a deeper understanding of what we can do with the time we have been given. The answer to what we're looking for helps define what we will do next, how we will next affiliate ourselves. I just got back from a week-long seminar with fellow Episcopal seminarians from around the country. The way we go to school is a hybrid model at the General Theological Seminary. So our academic classes are online, but we do field placement where we live, which is how I get to be with all of you. We are all being formed as priests in very different contexts. Some of us are in rural churches with only 50 members. Some are in historic churches that are hundreds of years old. Some are in urban settings with extremely diverse congregations that have services in different languages at different times of day, and they even use books of common prayer that are in different languages and have music that reflects the cultures of the communities they are in. To the subset of my colleagues working in more urban communities, these are seemingly biblical times we are living in. Current events in our major cities have ramped up that feeling for many of them. Parallel after parallel, empire versus innocence, wealth versus need, whatever the category is. Humanity has been here before. The Bible is filled with stories that if you change a few names and maybe add a little technology, could mirror exactly what is happening today. There was much discussion amongst my colleagues this week about what we are all looking for. How to be helpful in this time to those who are most in need. Tomorrow, we celebrate the birthday of one of America's greatest leaders of all time, some say the greatest, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Dr. King never held office. No one ever cast a vote for him. He was simply a Baptist minister. He was a minister with many gifts, but underlying all of them was the ability to communicate the parallels of his time to those of Jesus' time. He called out how people were being harmed in neighborhoods across the United States as they had under the Roman Empire. He had a compass as to what was right and wrong and spoke truth to power, all based on Jesus' teachings in the gospel. He, like Jesus, wanted to dismantle the system that was harming and disempowering people of color in our country. Dr. King, like John the Baptist, and like Jesus, was a threat to empire. Dr. King, also like John the Baptist, knew exactly what he was looking for, and he told the people at the time exactly what that was. I bet you'll recognize it. We will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. You know, friends, it's wonderful to watch this community. You all are so dedicated to coming here each week and being so present with one another and for one another. You all have a beautiful faithfulness to watch and participate in. You all show up to the community fundraisers the church leads, participate in the ministries, the Bible and book studies, and you show genuine care for one another. Let our community of Good Shepherd be truly a community of prayer and belonging, is a prayer we say every Sunday, and I see one, it is one that I see being answered every week. Yet I know there is still more in all of us. There is a longing in all of us for more people to have the kind of community that we all benefit from here at Good Shepherd. It makes me think of the Great Peace Walk that's going on right now. Do you know that the pilgrimage was organized by a group of 19 monks from the Vietnamese Buddhist tradition? Inspired by the teachings of Buddha, the Walk for Peace aims to, quote, raise awareness of peace, loving kindness, and compassion across America and the world. These 19 monks and their rescue dog, Aloka, have not been without their trials on the 2,300 miles they have walked so far. Aloka, the rescue dog, needed ACL surgery just last week. And though he was rejoined by his human friends on his journey, he joined them on the walk, he can't walk the whole time, only little 10-minute segments, and so he's being carried or driven the rest of the way. One of the monks, Bahante Dam, actually lost his leg in a truck accident on this walk and has had to have his comrades continue on without him. He has no anger towards the driver in the accident, saying, I accept everything that has happened. Losing my leg was a sacrifice I accept if it helps spread peace, love, compassion, harmony, and kindness. What role do we play in the spread of peace, love, compassion, harmony, and kindness? The word love is actually said in the Gospel of John 57 times. Jesus again and again in this gospel tells us to love one another. I think it's 10 times that he says that. So what are you looking for? Are you looking for ways to spread the love of Jesus in ways that might help you go outside your comfort zone, that might require some sort of sacrifice on your part? Maybe helping people you've never met outside of your own neighborhood. Is it tied to Jesus' repeated commands to us in John to love one another, our neighbors, and our enemies? If what you want, if what you are looking for is tied to the teachings of Jesus Christ, you are on the same path John the Baptist and Dr. King were. You can safely say you are not only affiliated with them, but with Jesus. Trying times make us know ourselves better. As hard as they can help us all realize what we're made of and help recognize how we can help humanity in the time that we've been given. Maybe what our neighborhoods need, what our nation needs, is already happening through all of us. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist philosopher, wrote in No Mud, No Lotus, The Art of Transforming Suffering, it is possible to get stuck in the mud of life. It is easy enough to notice mud all over you at times. The hardest thing to practice is not allowing yourself to be overwhelmed by despair. We must remember that suffering is a kind of mud that we need in order to generate joy and happiness. If you know how to make good use of the mud, you can grow beautiful lotuses. What am I looking for? Well, When I look out on all of you today, I see a whole bed of lotus blossoms. I see each one of you as a bloom that is growing up out of the mud that sometimes feels like is the world outside of Tequesta. I'm affiliating myself with all of you. This garden is where I am growing, right next to Jesus and all of you. Our Good Shepherd community is as much a place in our hearts as it is a beautiful, active sanctuary that does so much to support our community. My prayer is that each one of you find what it is you're looking for, and in the tradition of John the Baptist, Dr. Martin Luther King, our Buddhist friends on their walk for peace, and of course Jesus, learn how to spread what you find. Amen.